If you love staying at home, not because you're afraid of the world, but because something inside you finally quiets when you close the door, this isn't a coincidence. It's not laziness. It's not social failure. And it's definitely not something that needs fixed. Somewhere along the way, you may have started wondering why you don't crave constant company, why crowded rooms drain you instead of energize you, or why being alone often feels more nourishing than being surrounded by people. You may have even questioned whether something is wrong with you. But psychology tells a very different story. What if your love for staying home isn't a flaw, but a signal? What if it's not about hiding from life, but about how deeply you experience it? Some people regulate themselves through noise, movement, and social stimulation. Others, like you, regulate from the inside. Your nervous system doesn't need more input, it needs clarity. When you're home, your thoughts slow down, your emotions organize themselves, and you feel more like who you actually are. This video isn't here to convince you to change. It's here to help you understand why your way of being makes sense. If you've ever felt misunderstood for preferring quiet depth and inner space, stay with me. What you're about to hear may reframe how you see yourself entirely. Part 1. You regulate from the inside, not the outside. If you've ever noticed that being home makes you feel calmer almost immediately, there's a psychological reason for that. Some people rely on external stimulation to regulate their emotions. They feel better when they're surrounded by noise, activity, conversation, and constant interaction. For them, being out in the world helps their nervous system stay balanced. But for you, it often works the opposite way. You regulate from the inside. When you're alone or in a familiar, quiet space, your nervous system finally gets the signal that it's safe to relax. Your thoughts become clearer, your breathing deepens, your emotions stop competing for attention. This isn't because you can't handle stimulation. It's because your system processes everything more thoroughly. Too much input at once doesn't energize you, it overloads you. Psychologically, this points to strong internal self-regulation. You don't need constant distraction to manage how you feel. You don't need other people's energy to stabilize your own. In fact, too much external input can pull you away from your emotional center. Home gives you the space to return to it. This is why staying home doesn't feel like hiding. It feels like recalibrating. You're not running away from life. You're resetting yourself so you can show up more fully when you do engage. Many people never learn how to self-regulate without external support. You already have that skill, and that's an overlooked form of emotional intelligence. It means you know when your system needs rest, not stimulation. You understand that peace isn't found by adding more, but by allowing less. What looks like withdrawal from the outside is actually a quiet form of self-mastery on the inside. Part 2. You have a deep sensitivity to stimulation and meaning. If you've ever walked into a crowded place and felt tired within minutes, it's not because you're weak or socially awkward. It's because your mind doesn't just register what's happening. It absorbs sounds, expressions, emotional undercurrents, unfinished conversations, subtle tensions. They all land at once. Your brain is constantly scanning for meaning, not just noise. Psychology calls this heightened sensitivity to stimulation, but that doesn't mean fragility. It means depth of processing. Your nervous system takes in more information and spends more energy making sense of it. While others can tune things out, you're wired to tune things in. That's why environments with constant movement or shallow interaction drain you faster than they drain others. At home, that pressure lifts. There's less to filter, less to interpret, less to manage. Your mind finally has the space to settle into its natural rhythm. This is where your thoughts connect more deeply, your creativity comes alive, and your emotions feel coherent instead of scattered. You don't dislike people. You dislike excess stimulation without meaning. Surface-level interaction feels empty because your system is built for depth. You're not searching for more experiences. You're searching for real ones. This sensitivity is often what gives you strong intuition, empathy, and insight. You notice what others miss. You feel what others overlook. Staying home isn't about avoiding the world. It's about protecting the mental clarity that allows you to experience it fully, without becoming overwhelmed or disconnected from yourself. Part 3. You are internally directed, not socially driven. If you've ever felt strangely unmoved by trends, group pressure, or the constant push to be more social, this part will likely resonate deeply. Your sense of direction doesn't come from what everyone else is doing, it comes from what feels aligned inside you. While many people measure their lives by social feedback, attention, reactions, invitations, visibility, you measure yours by inner clarity. Psychologically, this is known as internal orientation. Your decisions are guided by values, intuition, and self-reflection rather than external approval. That's why staying home doesn't automatically feel like missing out. You don't feel an urgent need to prove you're living a full life. You feel it when your life feels honest. You don't move just because there's motion. You move when there's meaning. Social energy can be enjoyable, but it isn't necessary for your sense of self. You don't disappear when you're alone. You become more present. Your identity doesn't dissolve without an audience. This often confuses people who are externally driven. They may assume you're detached, uninterested, or unmotivated. But internally directed people are often deeply engaged, just inwardly. You spend time thinking, observing, integrating, and understanding. You reflect before you act. You listen to yourself before responding to the world. That inner compass gives you a quiet stability. You're not easily pulled off course by comparison or pressure, and that's a powerful form of independence. You don't live loudly, but you live deliberately. Part 4. You value psychological safety over social validation. If you love being at home, it's often because your nervous system recognizes it as a place where you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to perform, impress, explain, or constantly read the room. At home, your guard can come down, and psychologically, that matters more than most people realize. Many social environments subtly demand emotional labor. You're expected to be engaging, responsive, agreeable, or upbeat, even when that doesn't reflect how you truly feel. For someone like you, that constant self-monitoring can be exhausting, not because you're incapable of it, but because you're deeply aware of the cost. You sense when being on pulls you away from yourself. Psychological safety means you can exist without being evaluated. It means your emotions don't need to be justified or softened. When you're home, your system finally feels permission to be honest. That's why rest actually restores you there, instead of just distracting you. This is also why you tend to be selective with relationships. You'd rather have fewer connections that feel emotionally safe than many that require you to shrink or perform. You're not avoiding people. You're protecting your inner equilibrium. Validation feels empty compared to authenticity. This preference reflects emotional maturity. You understand, even if you've never named it, that growth doesn't come from constant exposure. It comes from spaces where reflection is possible. Choosing psychological safety isn't withdrawal, it's self-respect. Part 5. You possess strong inner independence. One of the biggest misconceptions about people who enjoy staying home is that they're dependent, passive, or afraid to stand on their own. In reality, the opposite is often true. To be comfortable in your own space, with your own thoughts, without constant distraction, requires a level of independence many people never develop. You don't need noise to feel alive. You don't need constant interaction to feel grounded. When you're alone, you don't disappear into emptiness. You stay present. You can sit with your thoughts without immediately needing to escape them. You can feel emotions without outsourcing them to someone else for relief. Psychologically, this reflects a strong internal support system. Instead of relying on external stimulation to regulate discomfort, you've learned to process it internally. You can self-soothe, self-reflect, and self-stabilize. That doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you don't panic in your own presence. Many people stay busy because silence unsettles them. Stillness forces them to face what they haven't integrated yet. For you, stillness feels familiar. It's where clarity emerges. It's where you reconnect with yourself. This inner independence is the foundation of resilience. It allows you to make choices without needing permission. It gives you the ability to step back, reassess, and move forward intentionally. Staying home isn't about shrinking your world. It's about strengthening your inner one. Part 6. You are oriented toward depth, not density. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by how busy, crowded, or fast-paced life can be, it's not because you can't keep up. It's because your mind isn't designed to skim the surface of things. You're oriented toward depth. You don't want more experiences just for the sake of having them. You want experiences that actually register, that change you, that mean something after they're over. Psychologically, this means you process life through integration rather than accumulation. You don't measure fulfillment by how many events you attend, how many people you see, or how packed your schedule is. You measure it by how present you felt, how connected you were, and whether something meaningful stayed with you afterward. Being at home supports this way of living. It gives you space to think deeply, to reflect, to revisit ideas and emotions instead of constantly replacing them with new ones. Your mind needs time to digest experiences, not just move on from them. Without that space, everything starts to feel shallow or unfinished. This is why crowded social calendars often feel draining rather than exciting. It's not the people, it's the lack of depth. Too much stimulation without reflection leaves you feeling scattered. At home, your inner world has room to breathe. You're not here to consume life in large quantities. You're here to experience it fully, and that requires space, stillness, and intention. Things you naturally create by choosing depth over density. Conclusion: if you love staying at home, it isn't because you're disconnected from life. It's because you're deeply connected to yourself. Your preference for quiet space and familiarity is not a retreat from the world. It's the place where your clarity returns, where your emotions make sense, and where your inner voice becomes audible again. You were never meant to live at the same speed or volume as everyone else. Your nervous system, your mind, and your emotional intelligence are built for awareness, not constant stimulation. What others call loneliness, you often experience as alignment. What others call boredom, you experience as presence. And what others call isolation is for you a form of grounding. This doesn't mean you don't value people. It means you value meaning more than noise, authenticity more than appearance, and inner peace more than social proof. You understand, perhaps instinctively, that a rich inner life is not something you stumble into. It's something you protect. You don't need to force yourself to want what others want. You don't need to explain your rhythm to people who don't feel it. The ability to be at home with yourself truly at ease, not numbed or distracted, is a quiet strength in a world that fears stillness. So if staying home makes you feel whole, trust that. It's not a limitation. It's a sign of self-awareness, emotional maturity, and inner independence. And those qualities don't make your world smaller, they make it deeper.